Claude prompts turn one sentence you type into a working TradingView indicator. Not pseudocode, not a rough outline you still have to finish. A script that compiles and draws on your chart. You have probably tried to learn Pine Script at some point. You opened the editor, copied an example off a forum, changed a single number, hit save, and got a red error message that explained nothing at all. So you closed it. And you went back to using other people's indicators, quietly deciding that the coding half of TradingView was for other people. It is not. You were missing a translator. No coding background needed. No paid plan. Nothing to install, nothing to connect, no plugin, no extension. You type a sentence in plain English, you paste what comes back into the Pine editor, and it runs. 7 prompts. And they are not 7 separate party tricks. They chain. Each one takes the script the last one produced and makes it do more. So, by the end, you have built one genuine tool from nothing, without writing a line yourself. The third one is the one worth staying for. It is the only prompt here that teaches you something about Pine Script that almost no tutorial ever mentions. So, take them in order. The chain is the entire point. Every prompt after the first one begins by handing back the script the last one produced, and if you skip a link, the sentences stop making sense. One thing first, free trading guide, linked in the description. Grab it and take your strategy up a level. Prompt 1, build the indicator. Here is the sentence. Near enough, word for word. Write a TradingView Pine Script version 6 indicator that plots a whole moving average and colors the line green when it is rising and red when it is falling. Add an input for the length with a default of 55. Give me only the code. Read that again because the shape of it is doing the work. It names the platform. It names the language. It names the version. It says exactly what to plot, exactly what the colors mean, and exactly which setting you want exposed as an input. And the last sentence tells it to stop explaining and just hand over the code. That version number is not a detail you can skip. Pine Script version 5 and version 6 are different enough that code written for one throws errors in the other. And most of what is floating around online is still version 5. Say the version out loud in a prompt, and you skip an entire afternoon of debugging. Every prompt in this video names it. Why a whole moving average rather than an ordinary one? Because it is a genuinely useful test case. It is a real calculation with a couple of steps to it. So a tool that gets it right is not just pattern matching a textbook example, and it is a moving average that actually turns fast enough to be worth coloring. What comes back is a complete script. Input block at the top, the moving average calculation, a conditional that compares the current value to the previous one, and a plot that takes its color from that comparison. Copy the whole thing. Open the Pine editor. It is the tab along the bottom edge of your chart, next to the stock screener. Delete whatever sample code is sitting in there, paste, and click Add to Chart. It drew on the first try. Green on the way up, red on the way down, and a length box in the settings sitting at 55, exactly as asked. Open the settings gear, and the input is there, editable, because the prompt asked for it to be an input rather than a number buried in the code. That is the part people do not believe until they watch it happen. There is no cleanup step, no fixing the indentation, no hunting for a missing bracket. It compiled, and it rendered. The prompt is a specification. The clearer the specification, the less you have to fix afterwards. Vague in, vague out, and that is true of every one of the 7. But look at what you have actually got, because it is less than it looks. You have a line that changes color, which means to use it, you have to be sitting there watching it change color. That is not a tool. That is a second job. The whole reason you would automate anything is so you do not have to stare at it. And right now, this indicator has no way of telling you anything unless you are already looking at the screen, which is prompt 2. Prompt 2, add the alerts. Take this Pine Script version 6 indicator and add alert conditions that fire when the line changes color. Give me the full updated code. 2 things in that sentence matter more than they look. First, this Pine Script version 6 indicator, you are handing it the script it just wrote and telling it to modify that, not start over. It keeps everything: your input, your colors, your logic. Second, give me the full updated code. Without that, models love to hand you a fragment and say to add this near the top, and then you are back to guessing where near the top actually is. What comes back is the same script with alert conditions built into it. In Pine Script, an alert condition is a line that registers a named trigger with TradingView. Once it is on your chart, that trigger appears in the alert dialog as something you can select, alongside price and everything else you have loaded. And that is the connection almost nobody makes. Open the alert dialog on a bare chart, and the only thing you can build an alert on is price. Open it with this indicator running, and your own logic is sitting in that same list. By name, you can only build an alert on something that already exists on your chart, so add the indicator first, then create the alert. Now, the alert is not asking to be told when Google crosses a price. It is telling you when this specific piece of logic you designed turns over, which is a different kind of alert entirely. A price alert tells you where the market is. This one tells you what your own rule thinks about it. Now the script does something while you are not watching, which is the entire difference between an indicator and a tool. An indicator waits for your attention. A tool goes and gets it. So the chain so far is 2 sentences, and you have a custom indicator that alerts you. Nothing has been downloaded, nothing has been paid for, and nothing has been typed except English. And now it will break. Not might, will. The moment you try to change something yourself or paste in a piece of code you found somewhere, you are going to hit an error. That is not a failure of the process. It is just what happens the first time anyone touches code, which is exactly what prompt 3 is for. And it is the one that gave up something nobody asked for. Prompt 3. Fix the error. This Pine Script version 6 code returns the following error. Then you paste the error message, exactly as TradingView printed it. Explain what is wrong in 1 sentence, then give me the corrected code. The structure of that request is the whole lesson. Paste the error verbatim. Do not describe it. Do not summarize it. Do not retype it from memory. TradingView's error messages look like noise, but they are not. They carry the line number, the exact function that failed, and usually the reason. That string is the most useful thing you own in that moment, and paraphrasing it throws away the only part that identifies the problem. Then, explain what is wrong in 1 sentence. 1. Not a lecture. You are not trying to become a programmer. You are trying to get moving again. And a single sentence is enough to stop you making the same mistake twice. Ask for a full explanation, and you will get several paragraphs about language design that you will not read. Here is what came back on a real error. The diagnosis was that the security function had been moved into the request namespace when Pine Script went from version 4 to version 5, so the old way of calling it simply does not exist anymore. That is the entire problem, stated once. Then the corrected code underneath, ready to paste. And notice what that particular error tells you about the wider internet. Almost every Pine Script snippet you will find on a forum or in an old video was written before that change. It is not that those examples are badly written. They were correct when they were posted. They just describe a version of the language that has moved on. But it did not stop there. And this is the part I want you to actually hear. Unprompted, nobody asked, it added a warning about repainting. Repainting is the single biggest trap in Pine Script, and most tutorials walk straight past it. Here is what it means in plain English. When a script pulls data from a higher time frame, it can accidentally use information that had not happened yet at the moment the historical candle closed. So when you scroll back and look at the past, the signals look immaculate. They fired at the perfect moment every time. Then you run the same script live and it is useless, because in real time that information does not exist yet. A repainting script is a script that lies to you about its own history, and it lies in the most flattering direction possible, which is exactly why people trust it. Nobody scrutinizes a result that makes them look clever. The cruel part is that it is not a bug, and nothing warns you. The script runs, the chart fills in, the signals appear, and there is no error message anywhere. Everything about the experience says it worked. Try this one on yourself first. You paste in a script you found online. You scroll back through 2 years of chart, and the signals are almost perfect. Entries near the lows, exits near the highs. Hardly a bad call. Is that a good script? Almost certainly not. And the near perfection is the reason. Real signals on real charts are messy. They are early sometimes, late other times, and plain wrong often enough that you need a stop. A backtest that looks flawless is not evidence of a great script. It is evidence that the script is seeing something it should not be able to see. Beautiful history is a warning sign, not a green light. That warning arrived free, inside a prompt that only asked for a bug fix. That is the thing worth taking from this video. Ask the tool to fix something, and it will often tell you what else is wrong. So now you have a working script, alerts on it, and you can unstick yourself when it breaks. Which leaves the obvious question, does any of this actually make money? And right now you cannot answer that. because an indicator draws a line, it does not take trades, it does not track outcomes, and it cannot be tested. Prompt 4. Turn the indicator into a strategy. Convert this Pine Script version 6 indicator into a strategy I can run in TradingView's strategy tester. Keep the same entry logic. Give me only the code. Keep the same entry logic is doing the heavy lifting there. Without it, you get a strategy, but not necessarily your strategy. The model quietly improves your idea while converting it. And now you are testing something you did not design. The difference between an indicator and a strategy in Pine Script is real, not cosmetic. An indicator plots. A strategy declares entries and exits, and TradingView tracks every single one of them. How many trades it took, how many won, the largest drawdown it sat through, the equity curve, the comparison against simply buying and holding, all of it in a panel underneath your chart. Same logic, completely different instrument. One draws a picture, the other keeps score. Even the first line of the file changes. An indicator is declared as an indicator. A strategy is declared as a strategy. And that single word is what makes the strategy tester tab appear at all. It is a small thing to know, and it is why pasting an indicator into the tester and wondering why nothing happens is such a common first hour. The conversion came back correct, with the entry logic intact. And now, you can finally see something honest. Your idea, tested against actual price history, with a number attached that you did not choose, which is where most people get hurt. Because the first strategy anybody builds gets tested on one symbol, over one period, and if the number looks good, they believe it. The strategy tester will happily report a beautiful result on a chart that suited your rules by accident. It is not lying to you. It is answering exactly the question you asked, which was a far narrower question than the one you think you asked. You asked, what would have happened on this symbol, over these dates, with these settings? You heard that it works. Those are not the same sentence, and the distance between them is where most strategies quietly die. There is a whole prompt built for exactly that problem, and it does not belong in this video. It belongs in the backtesting one, because it needs the tester on screen and a real set of results in front of you before any of it lands. Keep it in mind. It is the single most useful prompt of the 18. What matters here is the thing that quietly ruins strategies before they ever reach a tester. Your script is looking at one time frame, and one time frame alone. It will fire a long signal into a market that is falling apart on the chart above it, and it will do that confidently, repeatedly, because it genuinely cannot see that chart, which is prompt 5. Prompt 5. Add the higher timeframe filter. Add a higher timeframe filter to this Pine Script version 6 indicator, so it only signals when the 4-hour trend agrees. Give me the full code. This is the prompt that turns a toy into something you would actually put on a chart. A signal that agrees with the time frame above it is a completely different proposition from a signal that ignores it. Same entry, same logic, but now it only speaks when the larger trend is not arguing with it. Think about what that does to your day. On a 5-minute chart, a rule with no higher time frame awareness will fire perfectly good long signals all the way down a 4-hour decline. Every one of them is correct according to the rule. Every one of them is a loss. The rule was never wrong. It was just answering a question about 5 minutes while the money was being decided somewhere else. What came back used the request function correctly, that is, the piece of Pine Script that goes and fetches data from another time frame and brings it back to your chart, so a 5-minute script can ask what the 4-hour is doing without you opening a second window. And it volunteered something again. It pointed out that non-repainting is switched on by default, and then said the part that matters. Turning it off makes historical results look better, and live results worse. Sit with that sentence, because it is the most valuable line in this entire video, and it arrived unasked twice from 2 different prompts. There is a setting available to you that will make your backtest look better and your actual trading worse. It exists. People use it. Sometimes they do not even know they have used it because it was buried in a script they downloaded. And the better their history looks, the more confident they get. That is the honest version of what these tools are for. Not a machine that prints winners, a second reader that catches the thing you would have missed. Prompt 6. Explain someone else's script. Explain what this Pine Script does in plain English, line by line, for someone who has never coded. This is the one that changes your relationship with the entire indicator library. There are thousands of free community scripts on TradingView, and almost all of them are a black box. You add one, it draws something, you have no idea what rule produced it, so you either trust it blindly or you do not use it. Paste the source in and ask for line by line In plain English, for someone who has never coded, all three of those instructions matter. Line by line stops it summarizing the script into something vague and comfortable. Plain English stops it explaining code with more code. And naming the audience sets the level, so you are not handed a paragraph about type inference when what you wanted to know was what makes the arrow appear. Most community scripts are open source, which means the code is right there. Click the name of the indicator in the legend, then source code, and it opens in the editor. You have always been able to read it, you just had no way to understand it. Now, before you use anything you did not write, you can read what it actually does, including whether it quietly repaints, which is a question you can now ask directly in those words. One last one, and it is the one you will use most. Prompt 7. Your rules turned into code. Here are my trading rules in plain English. Then you list them. Turn them into a Pine Script version 6 indicator that marks each signal on the chart. This is the reversal of everything you have done so far. The first 6 prompts started with the tool. This one starts with you. Whatever rules you already trade, the ones in your notes, the ones you check by eye every morning, get written out in ordinary language and handed over. The real test was 5 rules at once, including an awkward one. Skip the setup if the pullback lasted more than 5 bars. That is a condition with memory. It cannot be answered by looking at the current candle. The script has to count how long something has been going on, hold that count, and then disqualify the trade on that basis. Most people would not think to ask for it, and it is precisely the kind of rule a trader carries in their head without ever writing down. It handled all 5, and it kept the awkward one. Write your rules the way you would explain them to a friend over a coffee. Short sentences, 1 condition each, no jargon you would not use out loud. If a rule turns out to be vague when you say it plainly, it will be vague in the code too, and finding that out costs you nothing here, whereas finding it out in a live trade costs you the trade. That is the quiet second benefit of this prompt. It forces you to state your own strategy precisely, possibly for the first time. Now the one mistake, and it is not a technical one, people treat the output as an answer instead of a draft. The code compiles, the line appears, and it feels finished, so it goes straight onto a live chart. But every one of these scripts is a first draft written by something that cannot see your account, your risk, or your market. It writes what you described. Whether what you described is any good is still entirely your problem. Read every script before you trust it. Prompt 6 is how, and it takes about 90 seconds. There is no version of this where the reading step is optional, and the one time you skip it will be the one that mattered. So that is the chain, end to end. Describe the indicator, and it gets built. Add alerts, and it works while you are away. Paste an error, and you are unstuck in 1 sentence. Convert it, and you can test it. Filter it, and it stops fighting the higher time frame. Explain it, and no script on the platform is a black box anymore. And finally, hand over your own rules and get them back as something the chart can mark for you. 7 sentences, 1 real tool, no coding. You now have the whole chain. Open the Pine editor tonight and run the first prompt. Just the first one, and watch it draw. That is the only step that has to happen today. And here is where we go next. Every one of these prompts describes what a script should do. None of them tell you whether the thing you built is actually any good. And there is a version of that question that will happily lie to you for months. Next video is the backtesting chain. 6 prompts, a real strategy tester result, and the one prompt that exists purely to talk you out of trusting it.